Hey friends, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. It's me, Christiana Gaudet, your tarot fairy godmother. We're here with another live tarot class for you. If you're watching the replay, that's great. Leave your questions and comments. For those of you who are here with us today, thank you so much for being here. And yes, there was a conversation. Should you be pulling your court cards? Yes, please do, as I literally just did 2 minutes ago. Seriously. So you want them by suit. Page to king, just like this. You can take a minute and get it going. We won't be working with them just yet, so you have a minute to do that. And of course, you can see I am working with the lovely and beautiful Wiser Tarot, a gift from Ben Libra Does Tarot. Thank you so much. It is my current workhorse, and I thought it would be great for this class. So, thank you everyone for being here. Again, special shout out for the members. If you're here for the first time, please do subscribe, and everyone remember to like this video. So, I like to do a court card class now and again because I think a lot of people find the court cards maybe a little confusing, and I think that's because of their versatility. You know, court cards are often called the people cards, and they can represent people. But they can also represent aspects of the querent. They can also be directives or predictive, just like any other card. So today, we're going to try to dispel some of the confusion. Now, what I'm going to be sharing with you is my system for working with court cards. You may have a system for working with court cards that works well for you. If you have a system that you like, and you don't find yourself wondering what to do about that court card, or I asked a question and a court card was the answer and I don't know what to do with that. If you are not in that situation, maybe you'll pick up something from this class that will be helpful, but maybe you don't need to. This class is for the person who, as I once was, is not happy when you get a court card in answer to particular questions because you have a hard time making it make sense. That's what this class is for. So if you fall into this category, listen up. We'll share a lot of great information. So nice to see so many of you here today. Thank you so much. Serena, glad you're here. Disco Bunny, all the way from Okinawa. Very good. Thank you everyone for being here. So, as you can see, get court cards pulled. And again, I am just going to tell you the way it is for me. If you would like, if you have particular frustrations or upsets with the court cards, or particular questions about the court cards or how they work for you or don't work for you, go ahead and chat that in. I'm happy to work with that. But let me just share with you a couple of what are, for me, kind of my ground rules around how I work with court cards. First of all, I use a number of different decks. And some decks do not have this nomenclature. You know, this is a weight-based deck. So it's going to be page, knight, queen, king. Some decks call it differently. What I do, if I'm working with a deck that has princes and princesses, versus, now a Crowley deck is a little different because there's no king. And so in that case, you know, that's a bit of a different energy. So it's like you have a prince, you have a princess, prince, queen, and knight. So if you're working with a Crowley deck, that's going to be a little bit different. I would tend to make the knight sort of be like a king and the prince sort of be like a knight in terms of the way I would interpret it. You may do something different. But there are also decks that are like daughter, son, mother, father, you know, whatever. I see the ranks of the court, especially from a weight perspective. Even if the nomenclature is different, I see them pretty much the same. I want to say a big, big thank you to Lisa Harmon. Thanks for being a member, and thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. So again, if you have questions, confusions, upsets, anything about the court cards, go ahead and chat them in. I will answer any questions you have, and I'm going to share with you the system that works for me. Before I go further, I do want to remind you that StarCon is like by this time next week, StarCon will be over, and those of us left at the hotel will be eating dinner, and other people online will be hanging out in the lounges. Hey, Sally, nice to see you. So get your StarCon ticket. You can join us in person in West Palm Beach or online on Accelerants, starcon.com, STAARCON.com. And if you're watching this like after the fact, think about StarCon 2024, because a week from tomorrow, my big task is going to be starting to plan StarCon 2024. We are an annual event. So come this year, come next year, do both. We'd love to see you. Okay. Quinn Kilharius, thank you. I saw the question before you retract it, and I'm going to answer it. How do you know whether it's a person or not? Right? That is the big question. As with all tarot reading, but especially with the court, you want to have your intuition keyed in. And so it might just be intuitive. You might look at, there it is. How can one know when the card means a person and when it does not? You might look at it and really feel a person. And another time you might look at it and not. And so you have to go with your intuition. But here's the other thing. It is okay in a reading to ask the question. So very often the pages, if they're people, will be younger people, will be our kids, our grandkids. And if you look at the card and you're feeling a young person, you can start out with do you have kids? Do you have grandkids? Are there young people around you? And you don't necessarily have to figure out, if you have a bunch of pages and knights, you don't necessarily have to figure out which one is which kid, although sometimes it will work that way. But it's also true that it may be more than one thing at the same time. So the Page of Cups may be your really sweet daughter. It could also be your kitty cat. Pages can be pets too. And it can be the need for you to speak in a more loving way. So it may be more than one thing. So one trick, and when I say trick, please understand, we are not tricksters in any way. Well, except for the most fun way. But we're not playing tricks on people. But one trick, or one method, that's probably a better word, for interpreting is to give the whole thing. Okay, do you have kids? Okay, I see kids around you. I see youth around you. Maybe it's someone who doesn't have kids but wants to have kids. But then you can talk about the other meanings too and give the whole list. And you could say, look, this card can mean this, and this, and let them choose. And it may be all of the above. It may be some of the above. So it's okay to play multiple choice. And that's true with any interpretation. If you're not sure, if you don't have a direct contextual hit or a direct intuitive hit, you can give every meaning you can think of for the card and then drill down and figure out which ones are appropriate. And sometimes it's all of them. Now, another thing that we want to think about is anytime with any tarot card, if you are in a place of saying, well, I always see this card this way, and you've heard me say this before, anytime you use the word always, and if you hear me use the word always, feel free to digitally slap me. Seriously. Anytime you find yourself, I see the cards this way, you're fine, but you're not fine. Because there's always more. You always want to think about more. That allows your intuition to hone in on what it is in this moment. It allows you to give more, nuanced readings. It allows the card to speak to the situation. Okay, so did that answer your question, Quinn, in some ways? And IT guy, nice to see you. Thank you for that stellar endorsement right there. Darcy, nice to see you. I look at the courts as degree of mastery in their suits, pages being apprentices, let's say, and kings being masters. And that is a good way to see it, if that's what it is in the reading. But, contextually, how might that work? If, depending on the question, that may or may not give a clear answer. If it does, you're good. But if it doesn't, you might need something else to play with. Yolanda, you do not need the aces. So, you know how, when you deal with the minor arcana, it's really easy. If you think about keywords for your 4 suits, and exactly as Darcy says, the suit is the element, right? So each suit speaks to its element. So you think about the key words for each suit. So swords, what? Communication, truth, technology, integrity, writing, doing the right thing, right? All of that. Right, Darcy, always context, right? Exactly. That's like the great thing about tarot, but also the tough thing about tarot. Wands, fire, passion, creativity, anger, sexuality, spirituality, motivation. Oh, another I like for air, for swords, curiosity, discernment, right? For cups, emotion, water, love, relationships, family, flow. Pentacles, earth, resources, time, money, energy, material things, solid things, practical things. Okay, Bianca, confused about the gender for page cards. So, traditionally pages are female. But and this is one of the reasons I always go back to the Pamela Coleman Smith drawings. They're going to look differently gendered at different times. Sometimes I will look at this and I will see a female, sometimes I'll see a male, and that's a very intuitive thing. And, very often I will just say child or young person and let the person I'm reading for clarify the gender. And they may even be non-binary. Gender's hard. And so I would not say, pages are always female, knights are always male. I would not even say queens are always female and kings are always male. It really depends. And so youth is certainly a key word that we can use for the pages. And so that can be younger people, or as Pamela, nice to see you, Pam, thanks for being a member here. A person may be acting or need to feel more youthful, and that can be really being young and vibrant, or it can be being immature. It could really be either side of that, right? Right? And Ben, in answer to Quen's question, says, I normally start off seeing them as people and then work out for there. That's why I love the Celtic crosses, the positions. It can help sort out where they are people and where they are situations. Tortoiseshell Moon, nice to see you. When I first started out, I used to get hung up on the gender of the court. A lot of books would describe them physically in a certain way, and that used to really trip me up. They don't do that so much anymore. In the olden days, I'm talking like Eden Gray times. That's where I started, there would be choose this card for a person of this coloring, or, that kind of thing. And that was specific to using the cards as chosen significators, which is a specific tarot technique that is not done a lot these days. Ali Mammon, why are the courts so hyped up? I get it, there's always the issue whether it's the seeker, the person around them, or the situation, but truly, why are they actually there at all? Do we need these people? Yeah, I think we do, and part of it goes back to what Darcy was saying, that if you look at just the lessons in the suit, so we start at the ace, and then we go through to the 10, learning about the element, and then exactly as Darcy says, we have the degrees of mastery. Or if we're going in the other direction, we start with the queen and the king as mother and father God. the page and knight as we their human children. The tens is the situation into which we are born, and then we go back down to get to the essence of the element. So in either way, do we need them to tell the story of tarot itself? Heck yeah, we do. And if we need them to tell the story of tarot itself, then we also need them in tarot readings. Quinn, I usually see readers relate young women with pages and young men with knights. That is traditional. I don't do that personally, but that is traditional. And Bianca, yes, I have to use my intuition strongly with court cards. Absolutely. Sammy, Pentacles, everyday magic. I love that. Being in the field, Serena, it seems to me that court cards can show up as no gender. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Bianca, you bring in the zodiac signs, and that works as well. Right, pages can be young at heart. So when we talk about the pages, they can be kids, they can be your pets, they can be people of any age who are young at heart or acting in an immature way, or people of any age who are communicating something, and that's their primary function in this situation, is to communicate. Or they can be learning something. I don't care how old you are. If you're in a class, if you're going to school, you're a page, you're learning. So just like we have key words for the suits, just like we have keywords for the numbers, we have keywords for the ranks. And the keywords for page: youth, communication, student. Okay? So what else can pages be if they're not people? They can be web pages. The pages can come up literally to talk about apps and web pages. Okay? Like, I'm having a hard time meeting someone. Well, maybe you should use a dating app, right? Right? I don't know how to learn to do XYZ. Well, maybe Google it, right? All of that. But what else can the pages do? The pages can tell you to communicate, or can tell you to learn or study something, or can talk about someone who is doing that. The pages can also predict communication. Now, it used to be in the olden days, the pages would say, you're going to get a letter. And remember, in the olden days, getting a letter was a big deal. You might get 3, 4, 5 of them a year, if you're lucky. Now, it's more like, well, is he going to call me? Am I going to hear back? And it might be text, it might be messenger, slide into my DMs, whatever. But receiving communication. What kind of communication? Romantic communication, communication about money or something practical, communication about something fun or something that you're interested in, communication that teaches truth or that reveals truth. So we have a lot of that. When am I going to hear about the job? Is he going to call me? Pages will give you that information. Yes, that's going to happen. Right. Bianca Tarot. Seen it come up as messages for afar, good news, especially with the Page of Wands. Exactly. Disco Bunny, when I first got to Japan, I got a lot of pages because I was a beginner at everything, learning a whole new way of life. Yes. Yes. Yeah, the old-fashioned method of choosing a significator, I don't do it either. I'm with you, Ben. That's a whole other class, really, but I'm with you. And when we talk about significators, like we may have, like I'm the Queen of Wands. That is my court card significator. You may have a court card that you identify with. But in your own reading or someone else's reading, you may come up as a completely different card, not your significator, depending on, again, context or what you're doing or what's going on. Adrija, can the Page of Wands mean a promotion? I mean, that wouldn't be the first thing that would come to my mind, but it could. It could, certainly. Now, reversals. What happens when you reverse them? So if they're people, like going back to, what was it, Darcy? Yeah, Darcy. What Darcy was saying about each level being a level of mastery. Let me take that and twist that just a little bit. But, What if if they're people, when they're upright, they are bringing the best of their element, and when they're reversed, they're not. So your Page of Cups may be a kid who is shy or sad. Your Page of Pentacles, again, when reversed, may be a kid who's not doing their homework. Page of Swords reversed, that's the kid who's going to lie to you. Page of Wands reversed, this is the kid who needs to put down the video game and go outside. But what if these aren't people and they're reversed? I often think about something you should be studying, or something you're not communicating or afraid of communicating, but should be communicating. Right? So the need to communicate, or you've received a communication you didn't like, or they're not communicating. All right. Sammy, RX is reversed. And Sammy can find it helpful to associate pages with how a person approaches learning or a new stage of life. And I think, again, there are times when that absolutely can work. But what I want all of you to do is get out of the idea of this is how I do it, and open up to, I might do it this way today, I might do it this way tomorrow. In a reading, I might do it this way or that way. These are all possibilities. And let your intuition and let the context allow you to do any of those things. So this is interesting. Quinn, I find it interesting that pages are associated with both youth and communication, since good and efficient communication is a skill that most people acquire with maturity, right? All right, let's move on. And let me know, do you have a court card that you associate with yourself? Do you have a court card that you associate with another person? Let me know what that is. As I said, I'm the Queen of Wands. Although astrologically, I would be the Queen of Cups because I'm a Scorpio. I'm an adult cisgender woman, so Queen, and I'm a Scorpio. Water, but I have a Leo rising, and I tend to lean into that quite a bit, and so I like to be the Queen of Wands. All right. So Knights can also be younger people. In a family situation, the Knights might be the older siblings, the Pages might be the younger ones, but not always. Knights can be, okay, so there's trouble. There's trouble interpreting Pages as communication. Let's go back to the Pages. Sorry, jumped ahead to the Knights. Let's go back to the Pages for a minute, since there's a question. Okay, let me give you some scenarios. This comes up regarding a married couple. You guys need to talk about how you deal with money. You're on different pages with money. This comes up regarding a plan for something. You know, let's make sure everyone's on the same page. Page of Swords, you know, this is communication. This is effective communication, but also writing. And also technology, being a student of technology. And, you know, Page of Cups, obviously message of love. Okay, so let's see. Serena, you're the Page of Cups and the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. I see that. Peggy Lou, Cancer, Queen of Wands. Yep. Ben, King of Cups, Knight of Wands, right? Yolanda, Queen of Cups or Pentacles. Yep. Yeah, and it could depend on the moment too, couldn't it? Absolutely. So let's go back to these people. So these could be people of any age who are actively and single-mindedly pursuing something, or traveling, people who enjoy traveling. So keywords for the Knights, again, we're going to have youth. But we're also going to have pursuit and travel. Okay, so let's see. Sally, Queen of Wands, but Swords and Pentacles, right? And we're really all 16 of the court cards at different times, right? So mixuere. You use the word always. Page of Swords with students, but Page of Swords could also be writing a book or effective communication. And any of the pages could be students, right? Mediha, King of Swords. He's always looking around. I try not to think of him as representing a real person, shows up constantly. I have difficulty figuring out if he's a person at this time. It could be you, Mediha, as like really trying to be the exemplar of integrity. It could be. Justine, Page of Cups has come up reversed for me as oversharing and being overly vulnerable, right? Lisa's the Queen of Rods or Pentacles. A mixture, sometimes the Queen of Cups, sometimes Wands. Darcy, I love this. I love this. Thank you. Yes, perfect. Knights activate what they communicated as pages. It does. It makes a lot of sense, and I love it. Thank you. That was very well said. Justine, I still don't know if I'm the Page or the Queen of Swords. Depends on the day. Yeah, it absolutely does depend on the day. Betty Flesher, in a love reading, Knights are not going to settle down and marry. Oh, they might. And the Knight of Cups may specifically be looking to that. This could be a proposal. So no, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Okay, yeah, Yolanda, Queen of Swords is a bitch. Yeah, can be. And we'll talk about that. The Queen of Swords gets a bad rap, and we'll talk about why. My feminist ire is about to come up, and I'll tell you my theory of why I think that is. All right, so Knights can predict a trip. Knights can tell you to pursue something. Knights can be people, young people, people in pursuit of things. Yeah, no doubt, Justine. Let's get physical for sure. So telling you to pursue, people who are pursuing, young people. And when reversed, it can be a canceled trip. Again, it can be a person not bringing the best of their element. And honestly, I find the Knights reversed very often to be the worst, because when a Knight's reversed, he's like falling off his horse. That can't be a good thing. And the horses can be important. Claire mentions that the Knight could be about inner power, you're really using the horse energy. And it is funny, I live down here where there's a lot of equestrian people, and the Knights will often actually come up for equestrians, which is kind of just fun. Darcy, you got it. Society fears the intelligence of the Queen of Swords. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Okay, can we talk about how the different Knights relates to travel? Of course. So it could be planning a trip, going on a trip, having been on a trip, a romantic trip, a business trip, a fun trip, a trip to learn something. So if you're coming to StarCon, it probably is not going to be this. I mean, you never know, but probably not. But all these other three things could be going to StarCon, right? And if you're going to StarCon online, definitely that one, right? So the Knight of Cups is getting a bad rap going on here, being an F-boy. I see the Knight of Cups as like the person coming to propose, coming to, like I would see your F-boy right here. But again, different strokes for different folks, certainly. Certainly, and you may see it differently in a different deck, as Sammy just said, or just in a different reading. Again, intuition is going to mean so much. Sometimes you look at a card and you'll be like, I do not like this one. And it's just in that moment. The next time you see it, it'll be like, oh, look, what a nice person. So allow the intuition to be. All right. So let's get on. So, okay, traditionally, queens are female, kings are male, but not always. Queens can be male, kings can be female. Darcy, yes. Can't the Knight of Cups be all intimate relationships, like meeting a new bestie? Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Lisa, the Knight of Swords, an emergency trip. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I like the emotion of cups too. Yeah, I agree. Pamela, I think the Knight of Cups can be those people who love tarot and will be gathering with others who love it too. You're right. You're so right. And I think that's what Darcy was getting on too. Because, yes, StarCon can be this too, because we're going to gather with the people we love and do the thing we love. It doesn't have to be romantic. You're so right. So right. So StarCon is all 4 nights, whether you're going in person or online. Okay. It's the Queens. So let's talk about that Queen of Swords. So Queen of Swords in the olden days, like again, you read Eden Gray, and no shade on Eden Gray. You know, she's who I started with. A lot of us started with her. But she's definitely dated, right? The Queen of Swords would say she was most likely to be a widow. Out of all of these, she's the likely widow. She's likely to be childless. And she's likely to be sharp-tongued. Now, I think Darcy said, you know, people don't like intelligent women. I mean, really. Because you start mansplaining to her and she's going to cut you right off. And so the Queen of Swords has gotten a bad reputation because she's the woman who speaks the truth. And the patriarchy does not necessarily appreciate women who speak the truth. So my key word for queen is nurture. The Queen of Swords in Heaven and Earth deck, isn't she holding a man's head? She may well be. Well, I mean, that's really old thinking, Justine. I think very few of us really think about that these days. You know, that's old thinking. Now we see the Queen of Swords as a smart woman who does the right thing, who's good with technology, who's a strong leader. Hey, Coach Tash, nice to see you. Yeah. So broadly, when it comes to astrology, just look at the elements, right? Air, fire, water, earth. It does divide out more specifically, and other people can help you with that. Yeah, Sammy, the Queen can certainly have Empress energy. Being nurturing, or what you nurture. So here we nurture the truth. We nurture creativity. We nurture money. We nurture the home. We nurture the heart. So these can be people, male or female. But they can also be, they can tell you what you need to nurture. I also noticed that kings and queens can be organizations or institutions, hospitals, banks, things of that nature. Right, Wiser Tarot rocks, doesn't it? Justine, how do the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles differ? The time for a fun Venn diagram. So the Empress is very much about production, producing something, and they're both about nurturance. In the Venn diagram, in the center, you're going to have nurturance. You could have motherhood. You could have, that earthy energy. And so, like with the Queen of Pentacles, she could be the CFO of an institution, or she could be baking you an apple pie, or both. Both could deal with pregnancy, or but with the Empress, for me, the Empress is like, well, what are you pregnant with? Are you pregnant with an idea? What are you producing? The Queen of Pentacles is not necessarily producing. She might just be nurturing. Oh, Claire, see, I love that. I like to compare the queens to goddesses like Athena, Aphrodite, Hestia, Diana. That's fabulous. So smart. So smart. All right. Hey, Cartomancer Magazine. Have you found terms that reflect the king and queen presentation that better reflect current gender awareness? Well, they almost always come out gendered. Oh, but Lodge and Exemplar. Where was that? Is that Medicine Woman Tarot? Maybe. Where the queens are the lodge and the kings are the exemplar. I like that. So yes, Queen of Swords, Darcy, no nonsense. Yes. Yes. And I do feel like as we now become more aware that we have, within us, we are all to some extent gender fluid in certain ways. And just to think about, in terms of our roles or in terms of how we're feeling in a moment or how we're dressed in a moment, some people really are non-binary or are actively fluid. Some people, like I'm very cisgender, but I'm still the head of my organization, right? I'm still a leader. I will take that kingly energy. Thank you very much. Darcy, exactly, yes. We are also all of the elements. So we are all four suits, and we are all four ranks at different times. Certainly. Darcy, I see myself as all the queens. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. So, if the queens aren't people, they're telling you to nurture something. And if they're reversed, maybe you're not nurturing it enough. Maybe it's like an extra push. And if they're people and they're reversed, they're problematic. They're difficult people in your life, perhaps difficult women. Or institutions or organizations that you're trying to deal with. You're having an issue with your sorority or whatever. Like that. Kings. Kings traditionally are adult men, but, rewind back to the part, they can be people of any gender. They tend to be adults if they're people. They can be organizations. They can show leadership. Take a leadership role. How should you take a leadership role? Take a leadership role in showing love. Take a leadership role in taking care of your responsibilities. Take a leadership role as a creator. Take a leadership role in doing the right thing. And Sammy, right? The queen could be the assistant director. The king could be the outward-facing figurehead, certainly. Certainly. They're both leaders, but in different ways. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, interesting, Justine. Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit of tarot magic with the courts. If there is a way that you need to be more of, like Justine, I'm going to use you as an example. Justine is naturally the Queen of Swords, and what she says is, I feel I need to develop more of my feminine qualities to balance out my expression, because I've noticed some new people to me are put off by my directness at times, like it's too aggressive. So, do you think that there is something that you need? Do you need to be a better communicator? Do you need to be more loving? Do you need to stand up and be a better leader? Do you need to do the hard, the difficult, correct thing? Find the court card that speaks to what you need more of. This is how I became the Queen of Wands, because I was solidly the Queen of Cups, and that was not cutting it for me. I was too squishy. And so I took the Queen of Wands instead of the Queen of Cups, and I would breathe with it, and I would sort of think of myself as this queen. I'd talk to her and think of myself as her, and she started coming up to represent me, especially coming up to represent me when I was doing what I really needed to be doing. So, Justine, if you need to be a little softer, a little more receptive, a little kinder, as specifically around communication, maybe you want to embrace the Page of Cups and really bring in, not that you become the Page of Cups, but that you bring in some Page of Cups qualities into yourself. And that's a way to do magic with the court. Right, and that's it. Like, we need to learn, and as an older tarot person, I learned all of this to be very gendered. And I think we all need to actively seek to change how we talk about these things. In the same way, totally different topic, but same thing. I am sick to death about hearing about black magic and white magic. Can we please stop using the word black to mean things that are bad? Why can't it be green magic and red magic, right? Could Sagittarius be the Queen of Wands? Yes. Because fire. So yes, instead of thinking about kings as men, think about them as assertive, as leaders, as front-facing. I liked that. That was really good. Think about queens as being nurturing and supportive. But again, not necessarily male or female. Now, in a reading, you're going to see what you're going to see, right? Your intuition, the context, all of that is great. All of that is great. Adrija, Aquarius, Queen of Swords. Yes. So now, let's talk about how one would do a reading with just the court. Now, and this is just to prove that these cards are versatile. Okay. I would never suggest actually doing a reading outside of a class exercise. I would never suggest Katie, rant, please. Well, yeah, in our community, we are screwed up with the language we use because we honor tradition, and tradition is great, but tradition's what got us in this mess in the first place. Darcy, I'm proud of my watery queeniness. One could say that water extinguishes fire, so very powerful, even if squishy, right? And the thing is, my squishiness was not working for me. I was afraid, man. When I first started out as a professional tarot reader, I was afraid to walk into a bank and cash a check. I kid you not. I was that scared of dealing with people. Can you imagine me being afraid to talk to people? But I was. And I needed the fire of the Queen of Wands to give me the courage and the confidence to talk to the people that I needed to talk to so I could do business, which I have done and continue to do. And now I am just that, right? Oh, IT guy, thank you. Okay. Okay, good stuff. So we're going to do this as an exercise. I'm going to give the example, and then I want you to do it for yourselves and let me know what you got. So I will choose, I'm not going to do everyone, but ask me some specific questions that have to do with anything at all, something you would like to know. Pretend for just a moment that we are in one of my live reading lives on Saturday where you have to ask a specific question, and ask me an actual specific question. If you have one, I'm not going to get to everyone. I'm just going to do a couple. But then whatever question you've come up with, I'm going to want you to do this too. This is to get you out of your comfort zone with the court cards. So think of a question, ask it. I may or may not answer it, but I'll answer a couple, and then we'll do it. Yes, Maya, Bad Bitches Tarot has by Ethany has female king cards. Yes, so does Vanessa Tarot. Okay, here we go. Here's a few. Adrija, will I travel for my birthday? And I am shuffling just my 16 court cards, as you will be doing in a moment. And I'm going to shuffle them in such a way that there could be reversals or not. Okay, so Adrija, will I travel for my birthday? King of Swords reversed. I'm going to think maybe not. You might not be able to. Disco Bunny, how can I reduce the job stress? Page of Cups, drink more water. Take frequent breaks. Mix you ear, do my cats have anything they want me to know? I shuffled. Change their water bowl. Change their water more often. Change the water bowl more often. So you see what I'm doing? I'm taking the context of the question and interpreting it in whatever way I can with the cards that come up. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to get all the questions, but here's what I want you to do. Those are all the reading questions I'm going to do, but I thank all of you for asking. But now you're going to do the same. You're going to take the question that you wanted me to answer for you, or a different question, pull one card, shuffle, pull one card and get your answer. And if you want to chat it in, or if you don't understand or whatever, let me know. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to go through and get all of the non-reading questions. Okay. Make sure that worked. I do need to change the water more often, right? Okay. Is there a court card that would best represent a narcissist, or would it be more of a combination? I'm going to tell you my favorite card for a narcissist is the sun. I'm so bright, everything revolves around me. It's the sun. Or the star as a diva. I'm the star, I'm the diva, I'm the star of this show. So court cards, I think it would go more with your intuition. Katie, you have to be willing to embrace all sides of the four elements, so kings and queens. Right now, I'm trying to step into the Queen of Pentacles to bring things on an earthly level. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Fifth Spirit Tarot is queer, inclusive, and non-binary. Fabulous. Thank you, Sammy. Thanks for the recommendation. Can ancestral challenges be revealed in court cards? Yes. Nancy Hendrickson is the queen of that. And in fact, if you're coming to StarCon, Nancy Hendrickson's Friday morning intensive is all about court cards, and we'll deal with the ancestral stuff. Her book, Ancestral Tarot, really goes right into that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And Ben, King of Cups or Wands reverse could be a narcissist, sure. And Disco Bunny, Knight of Pentacles reverse, stop overworking, right? Right? Oh my gosh, Medea Ness, there's your King of Swords. Again, just know your own truth. It's not BS. Feb Born, you're always in your head as the Queen of Swords. How to balance that? Just because I know you, Feb Born, I would want to see you have some fire in there. I would want to give you like the page of fire to just be so excited to learn and explore new things that you like, right? Okay, Pamela, how can I be more communicative or present my ideas more clearly? Got the Page of Cups reversed. Get out of your emotion. If you're presenting ideas, do not have emotion about, am I going to be heard? Am I going to be heard? Am I going to be understood? You've got that emotion. It creates some anxiety, and so you're not heard and understood, which is exactly the thing you're upset about. That would be my interpretation. Let me know if it makes sense. So, Adrija, Knight of Cups for your birthday. Now, that looks more like travel. That looks like a nice trip with someone you care about. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, once you've done that, so does that give you a sense of how to let these cards speak to you outside of the little boxes we like to put them in? Fun exercise, right? Oh, that made sense, Pamela. Good. So, Darcy, King of Wands for yours. And you had an interesting question, too. I was sorry that I didn't get to that one. Let me go back and look at your question. Best way for me to deal with the situation I'm in where my daughter has shut me off. And I'm so sorry you're going through that. That is painful. Oh, my gosh. But King of Wands. Remember that you're the grown-up. You understand. Be spiritual. Be creative, and be full of your own passions. Pursue your own passions. You do her, let her do her. That's where I would go with that. Is that good for you? Oh my gosh, is my late friend Marion appearing as a guide? Page of Pentacles. I would say absolutely yes, and in the most practical way. She's going to help you find money. Oh, Joe, adding 3 new people to the office, reverse page of wands. Make sure, if you have any say, make sure that you work on or have people work on communication, communicating things. Otherwise, it's going to be a zoo. Quinn, how did you channel the Queen of Wands without getting rid of your loving nature? I feel the need to be more like the Queen of Swords for my job, but I'm scared of it bleeding into my personal life. I think you can't really get rid of the nature that is yours. You know, if it's really your nature, like you can't ultimately change your nature. You can only add to it, I think. And so I didn't get rid of it. I just added to it. And I gave myself something else to go to instead of let me just sit here and shake in my boots about stupid stuff. Okay, Justine, can you speak to the Knight of Pentacles upright versus reversed? I get confused when I see it reversed. Is it telling me I'm working on the wrong stuff? When I pull it asking about a project I've already started? Not necessarily, but it could talk about some resistance. Sometimes reversals are resistance. And we know that the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight, but slow is not bad. Reversed may be that you're upset that it's going slowly. Could be that too. Yeah, I'm so sorry you're going through that, Darcy. It's hard. Did you know that a full 27% of adult children choose to disconnect from their parents? It's hard, but you're not alone. Ms. Silver, I'm going to have to watch this from the beginning. Gotcha. Sure. He's been acting like the Page of Swords lately. Okay, Mixure, do my cats have anything they want me to know? Knight of Swords, they want me to engage their minds more, so maybe more play. Yes, more play, more toys. Yes. Tortoiseshell Moon, how can I improve my financial situation? Knight of Pence. Make a plan, be organized, and set a budget. Look at the long view. I love it. Okay, final exercise, friends. And I want to thank you all so much for being here with me tonight. Really appreciate you. And if you're watching the replay, appreciate that too. Yeah, that is the percentage of adult children who choose to disconnect. Now, some of them will reconnect later. But I spent about 1.5 years disconnected from my family at one time and reconnected, and I'm glad that I did. So, different things happen at different times, right? It's weird. Can reversals act similar to a retrograde? Yes. When we have to revisit something or slow down. Sometimes, yes. If that's how you're feeling it, that's a way, for sure. All right. So now, take your 16 cards and ask the universe for advice. What is something that I need to do right now? And I'll use myself as a guinea pig here. I am shuffling. Darcy, it's brutal. I know. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. It's so hard. But you know what? With that Queen of Wands, there could be anger. Wands can be anger too. And you want to really try to not let anger consume you, I would say. And I want to say thank you to Pamela for the very generous super sticker. Really appreciate that. All right, so ask the universe, 16 cards. Ask the universe, what do I need to do right now? Not necessarily this minute, but at this time in my life. What do I need to do? The Knight of Pentacles reversed. So for me, that's sort of the recognition that I'm never going to be finished with my work. And so I should not be anxious about having to get all of these things done. I know what my deadlines are, and as long as I'm working to my deadlines, I shouldn't freak out about the rest. Okay, Mixture, Queen of Cups. That's beautiful. Nurture myself, be kind to myself and others. Maybe nurture my spirit more. Oh, Darcy, Queen of Swords for me. So what do you think about that? Recognize your own truth. Recognize the truth about who you are rather than what another story might be that someone might tell you, perhaps. So let me know what you got. And we're in our final few minutes. Ben, I got the Page of Cups. Engage my creativity. Let the inner child down. Be more open to love from those around me. That's beautiful. Lily, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Queen of Swords for me. What do you think about that? Virginia, looking forward to seeing you at StarCon. Got the reverse Queen of Wands for traveling and preparing to leave tomorrow. So you may be feeling a little harried around it. and just try to relax. It's okay. Yolanda, my advice, Knight of Wands, have some fun. Do some things that are fun for you. And I want to say thank you so much, Darcy, for the super chat. Really, really appreciate that. That's really kind. Thank you. What book or book of yours do you recommend for learning the keywords? Well, the thing is, honestly, of course, I recommend the books that I've written, of course, Tarot Tour Guide specifically for that question, but the best tarot book for keywords is the book you write yourself, Your Own Tarot Journal. Oh, Coach Tash, you're in West Palm. Hey, think about StarCon. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come for 1 day, 2 days, all 3 days. Go to the website, starcon.com, STAARCON.com, and I'll look forward to seeing you. I do meetups here in Palm City, not too far a drive. Would love to see you. Oh, Katie, thank you so much for the very generous super sticker. Really appreciate that. Darcy, I've been sticking to what I believe is truth. She's wrong. Sometimes people are wrong. Agreed. 100%. That's exactly how I would see it. Yes. Yes, yes. Sally, Queen of Pentacles, return to grounding and focus on my home and health, which your friend Marion, Page of Pentacles, is trying to help you with, Sally. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, wow, so good. Okay. Page of Swords reversed for you, Claire. The first thing I think about is don't be afraid of your own truth and don't be afraid to speak your mind. That's the first thing that came to me. I don't know if that's helpful. Mediha, Queen of Swords reversed, don't be a Debbie Downer or passive aggressive. Fair? Quinn, Page of Cups for me. I feel like I should communicate my emotions more efficiently. Yes. Disco Bunny, Kristen, Page of Pentacles reversed, need to ground. Okay, see, this is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. Sarah J, nice to see you. Knight of Cups reversed, do not be afraid of love. Sarah J, thanks for being a member here. Right. DH, Queen of Pentacles, nurture the practical things in your life. Justine, what do I think about the Page of Pentacles reversed for you? You probably don't love your job right now. Joe, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. Darcy, thank you for your kind words, and thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you, and thank you for sharing some smart stuff. All right. Right. And Mediha Ness, websites are great for looking up keywords for your journal. Yes, 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 yes. My friends, I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you to those who helped out with super chats and super stickers. Thanks to all the members and the moderators. Appreciate all of you. Adria Joy, King of Cups and Page of Wands together. Acting in love and having fun at the same time. I love that. So, I appreciate all of you. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. You know, God willing and the creek don't rise. The link's not up yet, but it should be tomorrow morning around 9 for your 3-card weekly reading. So please do join us then. After that, all hell breaks loose. I am available for readings through midday Thursday. And then I'm going to be at StarCon, and I'll be available for readings again from midday Monday on. So feel free to reach out and really take a look at StarCon. We've got so much going on. Over 50 presenters. Join us online. You get 30 days to watch the recordings. So get those tickets. Would love to see you. My friends, thank you so much for being here. We will see you soon. And I hope that you feel a little more comfortable with the court cards. I've got 2 more minutes before I have to be done, so I'm going to tell you a funny story. The very first time I did professional reading, it was a psychic fair. The person who's now my husband, but then was my boyfriend, signed me up for. Walking into the psychic fair, I'm like, please do not let any court cards come up. Please, no court cards. Please, no court cards. Because I was uncomfortable with them. I got through the day, and I even had people say to me, this is the best reading I've ever had. And it was my first day as a professional reader. And they had court cards in their reading. And it was in that moment that I recognized that sometimes you just got to open your mouth and let truth come out, and there it will be. My friends, I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take good care.